Hi, I'm Dan Colburn with Watershed Capital, and it's a beautiful day here in San Francisco, May 17, 2012. And I had the pleasure of spending the week with this guy on my left, Shawn Lesser. Shawn Lesser is known as the top 10 of clean tech. He's got a book, it's around here somewhere, it weighs about 10 pounds, and it's got a compilation of many of the articles. He's very prolific. You wouldn't know it just talking to him on one-on-one if you were sitting next to him in a plane. Tell us about this book, Shawn. I mean, it's like flying off the bookshelves. It's partly because you're giving it away.
Yeah, I've been giving away for free, so it's definitely been flying. But basically what it is put together a list of really a directory looking at clean tech globally, what's going on across the globe, try to give people a little bit of a feel of trying to, in a sense, be a human highlighter, see the good things that are happening in the space, be it in Germany, here in San Diego, it could be specific to companies, but just really giving people a broad overview of what we see in clean tech globally.
Global Clean Tech Cluster Association is an international organization that you founded and recently had a huge contest in Dublin, which you were kind enough to invite me to. Explain what that was about.
So the Global Clean Tech Cluster Association, it really came together, and the mission of the association is to build up clean tech on a global basis. And it's made of around 40 clusters from all over the world focused on clean tech. So all these clusters are they're in essence, they have the same mission: build up green collar jobs in a specific region, or to transfer those technologies across the world. So our concept was, instead of trying just to promote a specific region of the world, be Switzerland or Singapore, we bring all these clusters together, really try to promote and lift up the whole idea of clean tech. And then one of the main things we've done is put together this later stage best of class contest. We're trying to find the best of class companies wherever they are in the world and bring them to the forefront. So we did an awards event in Dublin last November. We also have a great group of judges that are judging these companies. We say our judges have invested over $3.5 billion into clean tech globally. So there are groups such as Deutsche Bank, BASF, Dow Chemical, Generation, Algor's firm. So really investors from all across the world to look at these companies, and then the outcome is, within this universe of the clusters, we find the very best. And we say, okay, we give out an award saying we just found the best of class, for example, new materials company out of Finland called BenQ, etc. And then we're going to do a follow-up event, that event that we did in Dublin, in Savannah. It's the Savannah Clean Energy Conference. And the real premise of the conference is to bring the global ecosystem of clean tech to Savannah for those days. And we already have around 12 countries already, people from 12 countries are already committed to coming. The governor of Georgia, the senator from Georgia. And we also have 18 of these clusters in our Global Clean Tech Cluster Association that are coming. So it's really a global stage to show what's going on in Georgia, but really where people can connect from all over the world to try to move clean tech forward.
And coincidentally, there's another Lesser involved, but there's no relation.
No, Craig Lesser, we're not related at all. Craig was the former head of economic development for Georgia, and we met somehow. We had the same name, both from New York, but we're not related as far as I know, Dan.
It's just one of the startling things of being involved with you, Shawn, is that the fact is stranger than fiction. Now, it's not just you. You've got Michael Wilchel, you got Aaron Enns. Talk about them and how you guys have a unique skill set that comes together very nicely.
Sure. So we have a great team that's totally, we see ourselves as under the Watershed Capital Group as a niche investment banking firm focused in this area of sustainability. So specifically what we'll do is raise money for funds and companies in this space. So about Michael Welch, he's very involved. His experience is about 15 years working with middle market companies and really building them up and for acquisition or mergers. Michael's also really, to me, a luminary in the space of impact investing, and he really talks the talks and he walks the walk. Then we have Aaron Enns. He's worked on over 50 engagements as an investment banker. Also, it's great that he's based in San Francisco and has that network in place. So Between the three of us, one, I think we really have one of the best networks when it comes to sustainability, and under that umbrella, clean tech, impact, social responsible. So that's a lot of reason why people come to us, because they're looking for someone who's a niche player, who understands the space, that might have a shared value, and we really accelerate their process, especially when working in that specific niche.
And you cater to the market. Now, for a lot of people out there, when I say the low end of the market, under $50 million, you're going to think, well, $50 million is a lot of money. But when you consider the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans of the world, they're out there in the 100 million and billion. So you've closed, I think in the last 12 months, you've closed how many deals? Where
Closed four deals or so.
Four deals.
And just to give you a feel of, where do we play, where are we differentiated, like Dan was saying. So we raise money for funds, and we raise money for companies. Specifically on the funds, and we're actually at our 5-fund forum event, we look for those, I call them the hidden gems, that funds could be raising as little as 25 million up to 200 million, that the big boys aren't really interesting for them, but really in our sweet spot. And then on the flip side, working with the companies, really looking at companies that are looking, later stage companies anywhere in the world, looking to raise from 5 million to 40 million. So we're in that lower range when you look at the big wirehouse brokerage firms. And there's a need for that. There's a lot of companies that need that. Another thing, just to differentiate ourselves from other types of investment banks and etc., is since we're niche players, our also differentiation is we work with companies and funds, and especially in this space, they're very incestuous in nature. So we have an advantage that we've worked directly with over 40 funds. So when we bring in a company, we have that network, and we also have that knowledge base to call on funds and go, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So there's a lot of, it really gives us an advantage when it comes to fundraising.
And why don't you thank K&L Gates for being kind enough? This is not the first time they've hosted the 5-fund forum. They've hosted the 5-fund forum.
Maybe I'll give a little background on the 5-fund forum.
I think that would be good.
So
and then also as a follow-up, that these companies you help raise money for, they use people like K&L Gates that are also targeting this market below 50 million or so.
So K&L Gates has been a great supporter of ours. We're actually at our 5-fund forum event, our 9th 5-fund forum, and they've been our host in New York, Boston, San Francisco. And the 5-fund forum is a rolling roadshow, and the goal is really to take 5 funds under this umbrella of sustainability and introduce them to around 100 or so investors that are focused in the space. And the funds like it because it's a cost-effective, time-effective way to get in front of a really focused group of family offices, advisors, fund of funds, etc. And the investors like it because they get a broad flavor in really a morning session. So yeah, we've been doing it for quite a while. We raised a good amount of money, and it's really starting to pick up.
All right, and it's that time of the interview where if you were with us on the end of the last interview, the question that went out over the internet was, what is the one fact about Shawn Lesser that is not commonly known? And the figures are coming up from our producer. We got 19,420 response. We have 3 people that actually knew that Shawn Lesser was a stand-up comedian before he got into this area. So congratulations. Shawn, why don't you just confirm that you were a stand-up comedian so we can be legal?
I will not confirm or deny that. Dan is also our attorney, so I will leave any disclaimer up to him.
Okay, and because we had a tie, we have, I won't say the names, Coral Gables, Florida, we 2 people from Florida won, and the 3rd person was from Kalamazoo, Michigan. You'll get the free book and a free pass to the 5-fund forum number 10, so long as you're accredited investors. That wraps up this time segment. Shawn Lesser, thanks so much for being with us and for hosting this. K&L Gates, thanks so much for being such a great sponsor on the spread, and the food was delicious, as was the lighting. And we'll see you next time. This is Dan Culver from K&L Gates in San Francisco saying, stay clean.